Money making money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity and I'll see you there.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started.
So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on. Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris. So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains, but not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them, but I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank, but all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. Your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
He's been on the fence to come to PMC Money Tank. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on a treat.
This is the ultimate watering hole for lenders and borrowers.
If you've got decent deals, you'll find the funding for it.
The networking here has been fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Tremendously beneficial.
Oh my gosh, so many people to network with.
First day, I probably met 5 or 6 people. They show me ideas, I show them ideas. We're actually on stage about 20 minutes ago, and since then, I've already had about 20 people reach out.
There are several people that I probably will be doing business with.
I have like 15 private lenders ready to fund my deals. The people here are amazing and so welcoming.
You walk in, everyone greets you right away. No one is a stranger.
It's just an amazing and comfortable place to be.
There's so much stuff that I've been able to learn that I didn't know. I've had aha moments over and over again.
They talked about normal rates of return, not 6%, we're talking about 10%, but in a way that's ethically sound and stable. It's full disclosure, but helps walk you through everything. They even talk about it on stage of like, we've already made the mistakes, so here we are, and we're teaching you to not make the same mistakes. You get to learn from us, you get to just follow our direction and just see what you can do. I've gotten great things out of the virtual events, but there's no comparison to actually coming here, experiencing the energy, and getting to meet all of the people. Everyone is here looking to grow in some capacity. Being in this environment, it allows you to feed on that and foster that.
During the event, they had a lender-borrower meet and greet, which is pretty cool. It's different when you can spend some time, have a meal together, hang out, joke around. The people are just a blast.
It's so much fun.
The community of the Money Tank PMC, the whole crew with Chris, Stephen, Shona, everybody, and Joe, they've all helped me out. It's been changing my life.
You're gonna learn something, you're gonna meet someone, and it's definitely gonna make a big difference in your business. Not by a little bit, but by a lot.
I mean, you could stay stuck thinking you can do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I talk to, their issue, and then they come here, and I talk to them a year later, and they've grown so much just by coming to this event.
Started $15,000 in credit card debt. As of today, I have $550,000 out in private lending. That's what this teaches you.
I tell people all the time, you have to get in the room to be around the like-minded people.
Go. It's worth it.
Just come. Do it for yourself. Do it for your business.
Take action. You got to do it.
Come to the event, you don't want to miss it.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Do it live!
Oh, yeah. It's another week, another What the F happened. And here we are right before the awesome holiday. And I always say that. I just love Thanksgiving. You know, when I was in retail, I'll let Stephen and James comment, but when I was in retail, this day always signified a break because prior to Thanksgiving, it was just go, go, go. And it started getting busier. All the goods were coming in for the snowboard season. Then I had a day off. And then the next day was always a really exciting day, 3 a.m. in the morning to go to the store and open up for Black Friday. And that was always a fun day. And that one day signified the Christmas rush, which forever will live in my heart is like the exciting time of the year. Cause you know, in retail, you go a long period of time with not enough or just enough to have this big boom at the end of the year. And that's just always going to be what I remember. Cause I did that from the age of 17 all the way up until 2011 was my final year doing that. So that's what that signifies. But here we are, what the F, and we got lots of stuff, but Stephen and James, what's happening on your end?
Hey, what's up? Good morning, everyone. I got my most festive Thanksgiving fall shirt on today and in honor of this holiday. And, you know, the new BYOB hat seems to be matching pretty fly right now. So I'm feeling good down here in South Florida. But, yeah, it's always an interesting time of year. And you know, we talk about it on the show over the past several years. Is it going to be a record-breaking Black Friday weekend? Are people going to go out? Are they spending the money? Do they still have the credit available? We know that credit debt is breaking all-time highs. It's breaking records right now. So is there any room left on that credit card to go out there and spend a bunch this weekend? Or is the game over? Are you getting left holding the bag? We're going to find out what happens with spending because I think we've called it so far every year what's going to happen. I'm thinking this year sales are going to slack a little bit. That's my prediction. I'll throw it out there right now. We'll find out next week how that prediction is. But other than that, yeah, man, it's definitely a busy time of year. A lot going on, a lot of parties, a lot of things going on with the kids, a lot happening, getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting ready for Christmas. You know, I was up till almost 11 o'clock last night, way past my bedtime, finishing our Christmas village in our house just to make sure, you know, it's feeling festive. My son is 10 years old now, and just time flies, man. Like I start to think like he's over halfway to the point where he's not even going to be in my house anymore for the holidays. So he'll be coming back from college for a couple nights. Like it's happening so fast. So trying to do all the things, it just really makes you think. But all right, that's all I'll rant right now. We'll talk more about that on Wealth Webinar today. But the last thing I want to say real fast, a lot going on right now, a lot of emails coming in from other companies, but keep your eyes out from Become Your Own Banker, from the Naugle, from the Money School. We got some really cool Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales coming out of some of our best of virtual training. So keep your eyes on that. We got some cool offers coming out. All right, down to you, St. James. Good to see you, man.
What's up? Good morning, guys, and good morning, everybody there in WTF land. Nagy, I'm not sure if it was you who posted this, but are you guys surfing in November right there down there in South Florida?
Yeah, my son's less than a mile down the street right here at the beach right now at surf camp. So him and a bunch of his friends are surfing and skating all week. It's been a blast.
I'm telling you, as a northerner, that seems completely inconceivable to be going.
Oh, no wetsuit required either, just his board shorts. So.
Oh, just rub a little bit more salt in the wound there, Nagy. I really appreciate that. But of course, we are all looking forward to the Thanksgiving season, especially here in the Sainthood. We have family coming in from literally all across America, and we're going to be coming over to my aunt's house, and we're going to be having an amazing dinner. We're going to be introducing Thanksgiving jerk turkey for the first time. So that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And as for shopping, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of caveats. There's going to be a lot of little nuances that are going to be happening this Black Friday to Cyber Monday season that a lot of people are going to be overlooking that hopefully we get a chance to explain in today's wrap up for WTF, because you know what? Big numbers are great, but sometimes small numbers really tell a story. We also have a lot of stories coming up here about public professions that are being cut in funding. We've got a lot of stories going on here today, guys, and I certainly can't wait to talk, or at least try to conversate with some of you today.
Well, I'm going to just land with this thing. Not all Northerners are the same, where James is like, oh, gosh, that's so cold and inconceivable up here. Well, I will tell you that I've been watching a lot of the feeds on the Great Lakes surfing, and it has been epic. I have not gotten in the water, but I certainly have a 654 suit, which is a really thick wetsuit, booties, gloves, hoodie, you know, so that if I needed to go out. And when I was swimming at the high school pool, we kind of made a pact that me and a couple guys were going to swim the lake. Now, bear in mind, everybody, this is Buffalo, New York. What is it, about 20 or 30 degrees outside? We're supposed to get a big nor'easter, which is about 20 inches of snow going to be dumped on us. And next weekend, Saturday, we're going to jump in off the cliff into the lake and swim that son of a pup. But you know what? For me, it just will bring me back to the days where I used to be surfing this time of year, because this right here, right now, is the best surf season for all of us Northerners. But with that being said, let's get into WTF economy. This one off, stablecoins. Listen, I've been deep diving this since it was brought to my attention by this gentleman that we hired as a consultant. And, he brought some really interesting points up. And one of the points was, and I'd never really paid attention to this, that banks are losing the battle. Traditional banks right now are suffering because money is flowing. I mean, when I talk about money, I mean trillions of dollars are flowing out of traditional banks, going into various stable coins, USD, and a lot of the stable coins that are pegged to the dollar for stability and safety. Now, there's a lot of reasons that this is happening, but you know what? It's gotten the attention of some of the big dogs, and those big dogs are the JP Morgans and the BlackRocks. They are moving away from traditional money, and they're moving more to these tokenized stable coins. And it's interesting because we've been talking about that a lot internally. I haven't gone public with it, but we're really on the verge of diving deep into a technology push here at our companies in terms of how do we better teach people to be their own bank? How do we use technology? How do we use stable coins and tokenization? I know for some of you, I have no idea what all that means. Well, here's the thing. This is the writing on the wall. You need to figure this out because the Genius Act, which came about this year, gives the regulations, the much needed regulations for banks to be able to actually do deposits of stablecoins. Think of this. You got stablecoins and you got cash in your bank, right? Imagine if they were both the same. You could deposit your stablecoins in a traditional bank and you could deposit your cash and you could convert either of them back and forth. You want stablecoins today to do something in blockchain? Great. Or a marketplace in blockchain? Great. You could do that right at your bank level. Well, that's exactly what JP Morgan and BlackRock are moving toward, but it's a long road for them. They've got so much legacy software and so many legacy processes. It's not going to be an easy push for them to get to that point where they're going to be the leaders in stablecoin. Hopefully, we here at Money School, BYOB, and all companies can help them with that journey. But I just want to kind of pause real quick. When we think about stable coins, one of the things right now that's a bit goofy about stable coins, and this is changing rapidly, is that they are private. They're privately issued and not regulated by the Fed and all the other regulatory agencies. That's going to change. The Genius Act states how that's going to change. Stablecoins deposited in banks will be regulated under the banking authority. Okay. And not only that, they will be pegged to the dollar 1-to-1. Most of them are today, but a lot of them are using leverage and kind of pegging differently and valuing differently. But that's going to go away. If you have stable coins and you want legitimized stable coins deposited in your bank, they will be 1-to-1 regulated by the banking industry and by the banking regulators. And there's a bunch of other stuff. But you know what? We're going to get a lot of clarity on that in 2026 because the Clarity Act, interesting name, is going to give us the clarity on how all this is going to work, not only for JP Morgan and BlackRock, but for the little dogs like us over here fighting the big fight, trying to be the nimble boat instead of the big giant aircraft carrier that takes a while to turn. Our little speedboat can turn really quick and pivot into this. What do you guys think of this?
Well, it's interesting because with these stable coins, a lot of people are like, oh, this will never come to pass. But now we're seeing these multi-billion-dollar entities really making moves on them. And it kind of is cause for alarm because what is the virtuousness of these particular corporations? They say, you know what, it's for ease of transfer. No more going through clearinghouses and waiting for funds to transfer within 24 hours and waiting for something to come up, a payment to be reflected by next day. That is the beauty of blockchain and all of this crypto. And for those of you who are like, well, this will never come to pass. Well, remember 10, 15 years ago, we were saying Bitcoin and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies weren't going to be such a major factor in our economy today. But look at them now where we have seen booms of of Bitcoin going up to over $110,000. So we have
It's
to.
not at 110,000 today. Whoops.
Not 110,000. But you know what? If you have something worth $80,000, that's just a little math equation that's sitting in your wallet. I mean, that's not so bad either.
It isn't, but it is bad if you bought it at 120 and now it's at 80. You see, that's the thing. That's
Absolutely.
the problem with Bitcoin is it's so volatile. And James, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to show a chart. Stephen, can you pull up the Bitcoin chart? I just want to preface this because this is such an important thing to understand. And one of the big use cases, when you think of a stable coin, like what's the big mass market use case? Well, to me, it is to stabilize the crypto markets because the crypto markets go through these. And I was going to pull up something and show you guys, but it's pretty well known. Like Bitcoin has these cycles, right? And it's been following them almost with the utmost precision. So if you look at Bitcoin, you were to look at, that's a 5-year chart, go to a 1-year chart. There's big highs and these big lows in Bitcoin. And you can see here, now we're at 87,000. We're coming back up the other side. But I mean, if you were somebody who was trying to use Bitcoin, let's just use that to buy groceries, pay your utility bills. Imagine if, you looked at your wallet and you had Bitcoin that was valued at 120. And now all of a sudden you look the next day, because literally it falls fast, or next week, and it's at 87,000. Right? Like that hurts your ability to pay your utilities and buy groceries. You're like, hey guys, we're eating ramen noodles this week. Sorry, no turkey because, well, our Bitcoin, our currency we're trading in is down. So that's what the stable coins are going to fix. And it is much needed because without the stability of a regulated stable coin, without the ability for crypto to have some semblance to normal currencies like we have today, then you're going to continue to ride these roller coasters because there's no intrinsic value, no technical backing of Bitcoin. So I see, James and Stephen, I see stable coins, dollar for dollar, pegged stable coins as a must have for crypto. Otherwise, we're going to keep riding these cycles. And then you're never going to be able to use Bitcoin as a legitimate means of exchange. I mean, what is money? It's a means of exchange. How can you use Bitcoin as a means of exchange for everyday living if it has that kind of volatility? I mean, people say all the time, dollar has volatility. It does, but nowhere near like that. It's not like one day, it's 120, the next day it falls 20 or 30%. The dollar doesn't do that. So James, anything you want to say on that? I know I jumped in on your
not a problem because a lot of people, they don't know what stable coins are. They don't understand, like, look, a stable coin is pegged to the US dollar. It's basically a digital dollar. And some people have been very, very skeptical and worried about this. So we have to understand the implications, and we have to look again at the virtuousness of these banks and these enterprises that are using them. They may over leverage their accounts. They may say, you know what, we have 1 million units of our JP Morgan, our Chase dollar, let's just call it. And you know what, we can borrow or lend against that. Instead of it being 3 or 5 to 1, like a traditional bank with traditional US currency, we can say we can go 20 to 1 or 40 to 1. And because it's technically a digital dollar, it is not controlled by FTC. And also, it could actually draw a lot of money away from smaller consumers, smaller lenders, and smaller businesses because it's going to be focused on such large enterprise solutions. They're going to say, hey, look, we've got all of our money in digital dollars. If you're not with a digital dollar, if you're not with our stable coin, and you're just using traditional dollars, we may not be able to lend to you. So that puts a lot of power within these major institutions, and we have to be aware of this because it might be a pebble now, but it has the potential and the propensity to grow into an avalanche later.
I don't think it's a pebble.
The one thing I want to say real fast to this is I just find it very curious because Bitcoin is supposed to be this anti-establishment, anti-regulation, but it literally correlates exactly with the markets. Like It goes up and down exactly with the market. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. And, the monetary, the way that money flows through the world today, from bank to bank, from person to person, using ACH, using wires, using the SWIFT system, is that what it's called? It's very, very, very inefficient, and it's very expensive actually. And that's why it costs so much to send wires and things of that nature. And it takes time, it can take up to, I think it's like a couple weeks for money to get from to really get from one bank to another. It shows instantaneous, but like the reality, it takes a long time. So that's why a lot of the talk is, hey, let's move to this digital currency. Let's improve these systems. But the curious part to me is people fight back against a digital dollar, fight back against digital currency. But as soon as you say, well, it's not a digital dollar, it's actually crypto. It's a stable coin. It's crypto. People are like, yeah, let's do that. That's awesome. But it's the same thing. So to me, it's very curious, all of it. And James, I think you're right. Like, I think there's nefarious players involved, and they're doing it for they're good. And I don't think that's at the end of the day good for anybody. So it's going to be an interesting battle to see what happens, just like in the AI wars. I know we're going to get into it in a minute right now, but it's very similar to me in that.
Yeah. And I want to just close this down because what you just said, Stephen, is so important. Is, people are fighting, we hear it all the time. Well, what happens when the digital dollar takes over and there is no dollars? What happens when the dollar collapses? I'm like, do you know anything about the monetary system? First off, like the digital or the US dollar collapsing, what would make the US dollar collapse? Right now, it's the currency that oil right now, is valued in. So it can't collapse. Okay. And we are a long way away from any other currency in the world, or even combined currency, coming together to challenge the US dollar. And once we kind of start evolving into this next phase where, stable coins are able to be deposited in traditional banks at a 1-to-1 value, that gives more legitimacy. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about how the US will peg the stable coin to the dollar, and they're going to play around with the pegging so that anyway, it's basically like legal theft, which would reduce their debt if they went that route. And, Elon was talking about it, and Russia was talking a lot about that. But against conspiracy theories that may not be conspiracy. But one thing that kind of has me confused is Declared Ruler from YouTube came in and said, Bitcoin is gold, not dollars. How do you make that assumption? Bitcoin is nowhere near gold, because gold is a tangible asset. Okay, a store of wealth, if you will, where Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. So you can't even say the word Bitcoin and gold in the same sentence, because they're two polar opposites. Bitcoin and the dollar, okay, yes, they're different, okay, because one is centralized and one is decentralized, which I kind of argue that, Steve.
Yeah.
I kind of argue the decentralized thing, because if you know anything about Bitcoin, like, if you're a dick or a scumbag, or you steal money, or you get indicted, or, are looked at by the feds, I know for a fact the government can seize and freeze your wallets and your Bitcoin. So you think you're safe with decentralized Bitcoin? You're not.
Nope.
Sure, you can hop it around from wall to wall, but that charade ends. It's kind of like, what was that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he was
Catch
running?
Me If You Can.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can. That's all it is. Catch me if you can. Eventually, you're going to get caught. Leonardo did. But anyway, it's just kind of funny, like the way that different people view Bitcoin as the almighty and everything else. And I'm not saying it doesn't have potential, but eventually the way that it has to go is these digital dollars, right? The stable coin, just kind of like USD, pegged to the dollar, so that people can go and deposit it in traditional banks or online banks, doesn't matter, but use it in the same capacity we use dollar. And then last thing I'm going to say, so Declared Ruler, I'll come back to that in a second. Store of value and long-term. I understand where you're coming from, but you just can't say that it's gold, because maybe you were just saying that kind of like Bitcoin is gold. Like it's good. I don't know. Maybe it's
it's finite to a degree. I mean, you have to use so much hashing power in order to mine it, quote unquote. But
I probably
just
put it
in a processor.
Well, how about Eric Trump? Eric Trump coming out this week saying his mining facility produces some huge percent of a Bitcoin worldwide. It's like, all right, so if Eric Trump is producing the most Bitcoin, where are we going with this, guys? Come on,
At the end of the day, though, think about it. If everybody decided that Bitcoin is not a storage of value, it loses all of its value.
Because there's no intrinsic value. But,
No.
And a lot of people are saying I'm all in long-term on Bitcoin, which is great. I have zero Bitcoin. And I'm probably the one that will lose that battle, because you guys that are doing Bitcoin, like, I fully get it. Like, you're probably going to crush it. You're probably already crushing it. But to me, I stick to my fundamentals. And fundamentally, if it doesn't have intrinsic value, I just can't get my head wrapped around it. And I can invest in other things that will give me returns. But listen, I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent about Bitcoin. I like it. I understand its use case. I think it's got a massive future, just like what Stephen was showing here with Eric Trump. I mean, we all know it's there.
He's saying he mines, sorry, real fast. He said every single day we mine about 2% of the world's Bitcoin supply. Like, all right.
Well, that just tells you something right there.
That's
they
a
see
lot.
something in it. And
That is a lot.
yeah, I don't believe that for
That's
1
a
second. Because,
lot.
like, number one, where's that plant? How are they putting that much energy into the plant to be able to mine that much
Thank
Bitcoin.
you.
And at this stage of Bitcoin, it's probably impossible that they're mining 2%.
If you want Bitcoin to crash, what's the best way to do it? Make it political. I mean, look what happened to Tesla and Elon Musk. He was the savior of the left for years, electric cars, and he's going to save the entire earth. And now they freaking go by and key every single Tesla they see because, no offense, James, most of them are a little wacko. But anyway, so if Bitcoin becomes a Trump thing, say la vie Bitcoin, dude. Goodbye.
See you later. Yeah, I hear you. Last thing I'm going to say is like the concern over the dollar and the crash of the dollar and the digital dollar and all these things. It just stop for a second and just look at how you transact your life. You are using digital currency. I don't care what you think. Oh, but my money's in the bank. Bullshit.
Nope.
The bank's using your money to make money. Your money's not in the bank at all. It's a fake, made up fiat world. Like, it's all just charade. Okay. It's just, I'm trying to think of how Matthew McConaughey did that, in that movie. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is just stop and look at how you transact. When's the last time you paid cash for dinner? When's the last time you paid cash for gas? When's the last time you went into the convenience store and paid cash for things? You're using credit cards. When you transfer money, how are you doing it? Zelle, Venmo, all those different things. More than likely, that's how you're doing it. You're not transferring cash. I still write checks like crazy, but I'm just old school.
You're old.
I like that.
You old, man.
I'm not the norm. I'm kind of the dinosaur. I just like it. I like writing a check. I got a paper thing. I'm just a tangible kind of guy. But that isn't the way the world operates. It's just the way I operate. And everybody's going to operate a little differently. But the fact of the matter is you can see the direction we're going. If you don't understand blockchain, if you don't understand stable coins, if you don't understand the use case of Bitcoin, read a few books or white papers. It's not hard to figure it out. The use case is rock solid, and that is the way that the world's going. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the banks need to get on board with this. They need to figure a way out to allow for stable coin deposits. Otherwise, the banks will become the next extinct dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Anyway, we got to move on to the next topic. Derek, thanks for your comments, man. I get what you're saying. It's digital gold. I just read that wrong. This next topic is a good one, and one that is definitely worthy of what we opened with, and that is retail sales. James, you want to take the lead on this one?
Absolutely. Right now, we've got a lot of conflicting reports. People are going to be spending. People are not going to be spending. Consumer confidence is high. Consumer confidence is low. And we don't know where the economy is going as a general populace of Americans. So right now, a lot of people, a lot of economists, a lot of talking heads such as ourselves are really looking to this upcoming shopping season as an actual measure of how well our consumers' confidence is in America. You'll see that, Trump's tariffs have come in and they've shrunk spending in a lot of areas, but the actual import and export deficit that the United States has actually kind of switched around where we are exporting a lot more. But that is in comparison to the massive run-up of imports that Americans made trying to beat the tariff cutoffs before Liberation Day. So we have to understand all of these different facets of the U.S. economy before we make a final decision. And just on an additional point, what we have to also realize is whenever there's a recession, whenever there's economic pullback and prices come down, luxury spending goes up because now those dollars are able to buy more. So what a lot of people do is they buy bigger houses. They buy huge houses because they're essentially on sale. And in terms of regular retail, what we will see is some people will say, you know what, I'm not going to go to Macy's or Dillard's or Saks Fifth Avenue. The luxury spending in some of those areas may actually decrease, but you may see increased spending in budget retailers, high value retailers, such as TJ Maxx, such as, what are some of the other ones? Marshalls, and that entire kind of second tier types of retailers that are out there in America right now. Apparently, even Best Buy is looking to see some significant gains this year as well. So I'm very interested about that.
Steven? Yeah, and just reading from Reuters here, U.S. consumer confidence deteriorates in November. Basically saying SAG November's households worried about jobs and their financial situation, likely in part because of the recently ended government shutdown. The Confidence Board said on Tuesday its consumer confidence index dropped to 88.7 this month from an upwardly revised 95 93.5 in October. Economists polled in Reuters had forecast the index edging down to 93.4. Fell a lot more than that. So kind of what we're talking about and what everybody's feeling. When you look at retail sales increased 0.2% in September, but when you exclude automobiles, gas, building materials, and food, they actually fell 0.1%, which is below expectations. Producer prices increased 0.3%, with energy prices accounting for the bulk of the rise. Things like energy are rising, but goods and consumer retail seem to be falling right now. So kind of what everybody's feeling, it looks like the numbers are aligning right now.
Yeah, let me just weigh in on this a little bit. Dex said that the malls are packed. There is an interesting thing, with AI and marketing and companies just getting smarter, what they're doing a really good job of. And I think all of you can kind of relate to this when you go on Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok. I haven't been on that in a while, but it seems to just know what it is you're looking for. So all these big retailers are giving you only what you want, but then incentivizing you to go in and feel and touch and see the tangible asset. I know even in my family, in prior years, and I think this is largely because we got in the habit of doing this during COVID, but that is shifting. In the prior years, we did a lot of our Christmas buying online. You just get boxes, you wrap the boxes. Now we're doing some of that, but a lot of what we're doing now is we are going to the stores to get that real experience. Cause I think a lot of us just miss that, right? Like just that ability to go and see and touch and experience and smell all the things that come with Christmas, right? The Santa Claus and everything else. I think we all miss that. We lost that for years with COVID. And then, maybe even 3 years if you were scared to go out in the public, and that's kind of gone, or I like to believe that it's gone until I see somebody driving their car alone with a mask on. I'm like, you're an idiot. But anyway, nonetheless, I like to think that those days are gone, but the malls, the shopping centers, the stores, they are seeing higher traffic. But the question will be, are the dollars and cents going to be there? And I do think this Christmas, I think you will see retail sales higher. That's my opinion. And I think you'll see it higher because unemployment numbers are still low, not as low as they were, but still low. People still have credit and people are still going to spend. This is kind of like the last hurrah. And I think a lot of people know that, but a lot of people have just forgotten that there's a downside to all of this, and they're just going to spend like it's 1999. That's my take. I could be wrong, but I'm going with it.
What's your bets, Nagy? What do you think?
I think we see I don't think we see good sales this season. I think it's going to be less than expected.
I'm going with less than expected, but I do see that, again, value retailers are going to see a little bit higher. Traditional retailers are going to be lower. And luxury spending, I'm going to say, is going to stay the same. So overall, I'm going to say that it is lower, though. So place your bets, everyone, because it's going to be a fun ride.
I love it.
I mean, do you guys shop on Black Friday? Like, is that a thing?
I don't. It's not how it used to be. It isn't how it used to be. And I mean, I'm running into a number of people in my social circle who are like, I don't like to go shopping anymore. I don't like the lines. I don't like walking from store to store. And arguably, some of them are just trying to be lazy. They like being able to click and just have the ease of having something show up at their doorstep. So they have that dopamine rush of something arriving, a package arriving at their doorstep. But at the same time, I know that some people are out there and they want to be able to touch and feel, and they don't want to go through the hassle of having to return items that they order online. So as a result, they prefer to actually shop in person. I think it's going to vary demographic to demographic. If you're Gen X, you're still going to want to go out and shop and actually touch things tangibly. But if you're pretty much millennial and Generation Z, I think you're going to want to do more online shopping more than anything else. So it's about who has the actual influence in these shopping dollars, who's really going to be holding the wallets. And that's going to be one of the final determining factors.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum's against these retailers. Like I just read an article yesterday that Target, like one of America's most beloved brands and shopping stores, is just getting crushed right now. Nobody's going to stores. Crushed. Nobody's buying anything. I mean, I know for me, like I haven't been shopping in a Walmart or Target in years at this point. Like
me either.
Amazon.com and it's here that night or the next morning. Like it's so convenient. It's unbelievable. Right.
I'm trying to be optimistic, thinking that, hey, there's one final hurrah in there. I mean, it's just, they're going to keep the markets propped up like they have been. And when people see the green instead of the red, like yesterday, last 3 days, really, it gives them more motivation because their 401ks up, their investments are up, and they're just saying, oh, well, it's okay. until it's not. It's going to be anyone's game, right? With this one, who knows? I think you guys are probably more on the correct side than I am. I'm just being optimistic on it. And yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But here's the one thing I will say, like, and then we'll move to the next topic is, when I think of Black Friday back in my retail days, like, we had to severely discount to get people to show up. It got very competitive, and that wasn't just about showing up early and getting, the one item. Like, you needed to go deep. And I know this year when we looked at pricing for all of our Black Friday offers, which you'll start seeing tomorrow, and through Cyber Monday, we went deep on the discounting. We initially were like, well, what if we just do this? I'm like, no one's going to do that, because people want, like, they want a severe discount. And I think that's what it's going to take this year for any of these retailers that are going to win the Black Friday game from a cash flow standpoint. They're going to have to severely cut and offer deep discounts to get people in the door. That's my take on it.
That's interesting. A statement came in here by Shane. Good to see you, Shane. Thanks for coming in and commenting in the chat here. But he says, Target went woke. And I don't go there other than the pharmacy we've had for 9 years. And I find that quite interesting. And I'm gonna bring this up why. And I understand that a lot of people didn't like that they had a lot of DEI, they had a lot of LGBTQ plus type of marketing within their store. But I want to bring up a point of irony. When the Trump administration came in and he says, you know what, no more DEI incentives, it actually, the backswing happened as well, where a lot of people of color said, you know what, if they're getting rid of DEI, we're not shopping there either. So they got caught basically on both ends of the barrel within this particular diversity and awokeness type of conversation. And it's interesting because, you know what, these audiences are out there. Target has always been basically notated as the high-end department stores, quote unquote. They were the only retailer that actually sold like leather, for instance, decades ago. And I think that kind of stipulation has kind of stung them in the backside, because a lot of people just haven't been educated as to like the full scope of what Target is. And is this a cult of identity? Like, is it because Target had, addressed that there are alternative lifestyles out there? Are they necessarily bad, as opposed to looking the intrinsic value? Are their prices good? Is their quality of material is good? And consider the echo effect of that as well. Let's just say, worst case scenario, Target just completely misses the target. They topple, they fall, and they're no longer nothing else is there. Who's going to stand there?
Get us to another one, because this is kind of a boring rabbit hole you're going down, James. No disrespect, but
I'm coming down to, I'm just saying, like, what happens when it goes? All that's left is Amazon and Walmart.
It's always this. Stephen talks about this all the time. It just seems like all these big companies, the pendulum just swings so far either way. Like, it's kind of just, they're just always chasing the winner. Mark Zuckerberg is another one. You remember, like, he was anti-Trump, then he was like Trump's best friend. It's just, listen, I think it just comes down to, they're just going to go where the dollars are. That's all it is. Where the dollars are, that's where these companies go. And it's always going to rub someone wrong. Someone's going to be upset by whatever they do. So until we kind of come back to a part where, like, we can all just kind of realize we're all human, we're all people, we're all in this together, and just do that, I don't think we'll ever see that in harmony. But I think you'll get away from these polarizing differences. When? That's another question. Probably when they get rid of the tuck swimsuits for kids in the front. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Market focus. So there's been a lot of emphasis on the Fed this year. The Fed was, well, we're only going to go with the data. And now the Fed's got the data, and the Fed is dropping rates. They continue to. And there was a recent meeting, with the Federal Reserve suggesting there's room for further adjustments, which in simple language is there's room to lower rates even more. So are we thinking there's going to be a 25 basis point cut, 50 basis point cut? What are you guys thinking?
What was the last one at? Do you remember? 25. Then they'll probably play it safe and go 25 again. The Fed can only do
25 in December. I don't know. I think they might kind of seize cuts after December, going into 2026.
I don't know. What's everybody else think? Let's get everybody's opinion. Like, you think they're going to go drastic and try to really kind of stimulate before things, accelerate and get worse after the holidays? Because, 2026 is a different ball game than 2025. The end of the year is always pretty strong, but we're going to see as we go into the new year what's going to happen. And I don't know. You got midterms coming up. So what do you all think? Do you think 25 basis points? If you do, put 25 in the comments. Or are you thinking 50 basis points? 50, put 50 in the comments.
And 50 would be like 0.5%. Is that correct, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I sometimes assume everybody knows what basis is. 25 basis points is a 0.25% cut.
So
50
instead of it
basis
being
points,
6.5, it'd be 6.25, correct?
Correct.
Wow, 100. Wow.
That's what I just saw that 100. Oh,
dang, that's a
whole
what is
percentage
the ripple
cut?
effect of this?
But I mean, hey,
Because
listen, like that is not unthinkable, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
And on a fundamental level, what does it mean when the Fed cuts rates? What does that mean to everyday consumers there, Chris?
Just makes things cheaper when they finance. But the thing is a lot of that's already built into the market pricing already. Like if you're looking at mortgages and you're like, oh, I'm going to wait and see what the Fed does. It's already built in. Like the indicators are out. The mortgage, rate is always kind of fluctuating and it builds in potential rate decreases or increases. And I think you get that with pretty much most lending. Unless you're looking at the SOFR or you're looking at, like the overnight rates or the prime rates but that's all it does, James, is it when they drop rates, they're effectively, tightening or that's what they were doing when they were raising, but now they're kind of loosening a little on rates, but they're still super tight with the monetary policy. So it just makes it cheaper for the everyday person or businesses to borrow money.
Absolutely. And one final question. So the Fed cuts rates and we see this trickle effect where borrowing money is a lot less. But in terms of the common consumer out there, what are their three biggest concerns right now, would you say, economically speaking? What are their biggest three concerns?
I think debt, no, 100% debt. That's a major concern. People are very much in debt. I mean, when you start looking at just car loans and you look at the defaults and the delinquencies on car loans, you could see that that's the telltale cry right now in America is people are burdened with debt. And like most of them are just rubbing two nickels together, trying to make ends meet. I mean, I think that's number one. What would you say, Stephen? What's number two?
Oh, you were frozen there for a second.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking something up.
Well, I think that the number one is definitely housing affordability is one of their prime concerns.
I think just general affordability, period.
Yeah. And we know that how much the housing market, kind of moves the rest of the industry because it's one of the biggest purchases any American makes. So you're looking at debt, you're looking at housing affordability. So if the Fed lowers rates, and let's say that I have high consumer debt, does that mean if I'm carrying a 24% interest rate on my credit card, does that mean it's going to be commiserate where instead of me being at 24%, I'm going to be at 23.75?
Credit card companies aren't really going to follow along with that unless it's real severe drops. So probably not on credit cards, but car loans for sure. Your if you got a variable rate HELOC for sure.
Okay.
All those kind of rates would definitely feel the impact, which would be great, which would be good. And then, a lot of these commercial loans that are maturing, the 5 to 7 year ARMs that they had, the rate lock periods. If the rates keep coming down there, that's going to help them, give them at least a fighting chance. And I think that's what the Fed knows, but is it going to be too far, too late? That's going to be the question.
How can they keep dropping rates though? Like inflation's still running rampant. Like there's still so much money flowing through.
Kind of the lesser of two evils. Lesser of two evils.
This is a representation of our K-shaped economy. If I'm making $70,000, $80,000 a year, not enough to really be quote unquote wealthy, and I have high consumer debt, them lowering interest rates, I've already purchased my house.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit like brick on a stick. You know what I'm saying? But if I am more of a commercial investor, yes, it means a lot, but it's necessarily going to trickle down to everybody else who really is carrying all.
But it does trickle down. So you look at things a lot of times, like I think you look at things through blinders. Like how you got to look at it, James, is if the corporations that make things can borrow money cheaper, that there is a trickle down effect to that. So yes, tariffs, have increased prices to a certain extent, maybe increased inflation. I know the news only wants you to think that's all of what it is, but let's not forget they printed $5.2 trillion. Like that had a little to do with the increase in prices. It's not Trump's tariffs. It's a melting pot of a lot of different things creating this issue. So when you think about it, like, don't just think, oh, it's not going to affect the average person because they're locked into a mortgage. It is because of everyday goods and services. If the industries, the manufacturers can use money cheaper, if I can use money cheaper, if business can use money cheaper, that means our operating expenses go down, which then means we can, one of two things. It increases our profits. And I know that's where you want to go. Oh, they're just going to take take the profits. But eventually, to be competitive, and that's capitalism, to be competitive, they can't just rack up the profits for, and not do anything with price, because everybody else is going to try to take, smaller companies are going to try to take market share by being more competitive on price, because they can, because their cost of doing business is less. So there's always there's a top-down approach, but a bottom-up approach as well. And you got to look at both. I think right now the two are fighting one another. I think right now companies probably would just bankroll, build their coffers, take more profits for shareholders. But eventually competition from smaller, more agile companies will push price down. But it will take time, just like everything else.
Okay, well, let's see how that goes. I definitely want to explore that further. But I know
all right, let's move on to USA.
My fellow Americans.
So you know the thing. I think, James, this is one you love talking about. And this is just a good topic. I mean, it's dead on. I mean, if you think back to our parents, like at what age were our parents buying their homes, right? Like if you go back to the 90s, it was 28 years old. That was the average age of a homeowner. And then when you look at today, 2025, dude, it's 10 years later, 38 years old. Now, listen, no disrespect. I know in 1990 to 2025, people are living a little longer, but not that much longer. People are delaying buying a home, the American dream, 10 freaking years. And the only thing that comes down to is just affordability. There is the average price of a house is just not affordable to the majority of the U.S. population. Hence, that will change as rates come down. That will also change with the advent of this stupid 50-year mortgage. It's not an advent, but like the interest.
I don't think it's going to go through. Just as an aside, I don't think that's going to go through.
Well, I don't think it should. If you've watched my shorts or my Instagram videos, you can see where I'm at with that. I think that's the ultimate slavery for American people. But you know what? Other countries do it because of affordability. So maybe we will have to. But I think I'm always a proponent of let the markets figure it out. Like, Austrian economics and all this. I truly believe that the price of housing is going to come down sharply. Now, I know I'm against, I love when we put up stuff, James, on Instagram, and realtors come in and they're like, oh, no way, this and that. And I'm like, you're a freaking realtor. Shut your mouth. Like, that's the only thing you do is look at how you're going to make more commissions. Like, I don't mean to be a dick, but I know a lot of realtors and they're all the freaking same. Like, they're just blinded by, I don't even know what they're blinded by. They just don't even understand reality. Like, you have a major affordability problem. And as things tighten, as more people are laid off, as the markets shift and things start getting, weaker, as the economy weakens, affordability the housing prices have to come down. Otherwise, you already right now, you're going to have a market where all the houses are just sitting on the market. You have to have an adjustment. It's the old pendulum, right? You're going to see prices soften. Now, I think prices are going to soften substantially in some parts of the country. Now, other people would say, I think they're going to soften, but very little because of demand. Demand only matters if there's demand for product that is out there. That's the only way demand matters. And that isn't the case. There's demand for a product that barely exists in the marketplace. Then that price that the demand is for, there's just not enough of it. Yes, you're seeing, buying or bidding wars on those prices, but there's, as time goes on, less and less and less of that price that fits the demand is there. So the only thing that can happen is rates can come down to make people be able to squeeze the affordability in, or price has to change, or both. And I think you're going to see both, but I think more so on the price side.
Yeah, here's some just statistics from the National Association of Realtors. First-time home buyers, the median age is 40 years old, 10% medium down payment. It's the highest down payment level recorded since 1989. Top sources for down payment, 59% have personal savings. Others use financial assets, such as 401k, stocks, or crypto. And another 22% got gifts or loans from family and friends. When it comes to repeat buyers, median age is 62 years old, which is fascinating. 23% of medium down payment. So they're using money probably from selling their other home to put towards the down payment. And 30% were all cash buyers. Again, downsizing, taking that cash instead of having a mortgage, just buying straight up. And, this is what really drives these prices up and makes it very competitive. I mean, if you get a all cash offer, Chris, or you have to deal with a first time FHA loan, like which one are you going to pick? and that's one of the reasons these first-time buyers are having trouble getting homes. When you look at all buyers, 24% have children under the age of 18 living at home. Median age of 59 years old. 14% purchased a multi-generational home. Top reasons cited for purchasing major generational homes: taking care of aging parents, cost savings, children over the age of 18 moving back home. So some interesting statistics coming out of the National Association of Realtors.
Absolutely. And Nagy, if you could do me a quick favor, look up what Newsweek says. They're predicting one of the biggest crashes in the housing market coming up, I believe, in 2026, 2027. Not sure if you can find that. But just a few quick points. A lot of people point to corporations buying up all these huge swaths of homes. They bought up maybe 5% of all homes in America, and then they do some type of magical bango dangle so that the comparables are just ridiculously outmatched to what the market really is, so that they can make profit.
Here you go, James.
Hey, thank you. Yeah. So price correction worse than 2008 coming to the U.S. housing market. That's a huge headline right there. That's a huge headline. And
yeah, this was just coming out yesterday. It's a housing analyst, Melody Wright, writing for Newsweek. She expects home prices to drop in half as soon as next year. I think we're going to correct all the way to a point where household medium income matches the home price. The median home price.
Right there.
And so that is going to be worse than 2008. This could evolve a lot faster than last time.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to say I'm smart, but it's just simple economics. So you can chalk it up as one or the other. I mean, it's just like, go back to the high school economics class. They taught us this. Like, this isn't complicated. There are some variables that play into it that are a bit, out of the norm, but it really is just time. Time's the only factor that makes us think that it isn't going to be what it always has been, but it will be. It will.
Absolutely.
I mean, coming out of Zillow right here, 53% of U.S. homes lost value in the past year, the most since 2012. So,
and that's a lot of major markets right
maybe
there.
we're already starting to see it happen. It's already started to go.
I think we are. It's just, the hard part in today's world, and it's going to get worse, is it's very difficult to know what to believe.
Right.
Like, I mean, you look through social media. How many of you look through social media and you're like, is that real or is that AI? Like, you don't even know what to believe anymore. So it's just, you almost just have to just go back to the fundamental basics, educate yourself on the different economics. Like, I love Austrian economics, but Keynesian and, just all the economic factors, and just say, okay, what has happened in the past and what should likely happen now? And then just add time to that. And you're probably almost always going to be right, because history is going to repeat itself, because it just has to. It's just economics.
Absolutely.
Until you get someone like Mamdani coming into New York City. Sorry.
Oh, you mean Mamdani, who basically Trump kissed his ass? Are we going there?
I didn't even. The only thing I saw that Trump said is, "Oh, you don't even need to say anything. You're socialist."
He's dressing like Mamdani now. Like, come on. Yeah, he's dressing like him. Like, we're best friends now. So, I mean, we can go there if you want, but that's okay.
I don't have the knowledge on that. I've been looking to see what I thought Trump was going to grill him, but
Trump is old school, man. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, that's
art of war.
Okay,
100%.
Sure. Okay. That's why he invited that.
No, but in all honesty, that's who Trump is. Trump reads the room. Trump will play to whatever he needs to play to get what he wants. I mean,
Trump falls asleep in the UN meetings. He sleeps more than Joe Biden does.
You're probably pretty freaking boring.
And apparently he's under a stroke. Well, I'm keeping it in the can today, guys. We got a lot to talk about. I'm not going to go into Trump politics. You guys can fan over him all you want. All right.
Let's move on to this one. This is, I think, a good topic. X. So X is doing something unique. And listen, I'm totally in favor of this. I think this is super important. I think all social media sites should be doing this. Now, I know you're going to differ. I see it on your face. You're ready to lash out. But what they're doing is it's a feature location so that you can see the origin of the information in the about the account section. So if something gets posted about the US, about Trump, about whatever, you can see where that origin's coming from. And what they're finding, they're doing a bunch of research, is they're finding that a lot of these accounts are coming from India and Nigeria. And this isn't just on one side or the other of the aisle. This is both sides. Like, it's just like, why is the content originating in India and in Nigeria,
Sri Lanka,
Sri Lanka, Israel, and all these different things? Like, why is it coming from there when they're talking about our political environment and different things that are happening. It's definitely eye-opening. James, what's your take on this? And then Steve, what's your take?
I absolutely, I love it. And then of course it got taken down. That's the little caveat that was put up there. We were even seeing that the Department of Homeland Security, their Twitter account was based in like India and actually in Tel Aviv, Israel. And if you can bring up a screenshot of that, I'm not sure if I included that in the notes. It was actually brought up that, hey, we can't verify that. And I dug deep. I was like, has anybody dug any deeper into this? Has anybody found this out? And for some reason, the feature was actually shut down by X. And now we cannot find any type of information that verifies it or verifies it. Now, the Department of Homeland Security said, you know what, we are aware of what happened, and they put out this nice little legal claimer, but we do want to have transparency when we are reading social media. Let's not make any mistake about it. It's a major factor that helps us, drive tribe and build community, et cetera. And it's leveraged to basically educate a lot of people.
So like, post up and it's something like, you're like, really? And then you look at the origin and it comes from Iran. Are you going to believe that? No.
Yeah. And it's basically, it's fueling a lot of the divisiveness that we see in America to this day. I think there was one guy out of Sri Lanka that had over 120 bot accounts that were influencing not only American media, but also British media. And you can imagine, and some of these were massive accounts. I'm not going to try and say left or right, conservative or progressive. The fact is that there's foreign actors, there's foreign people out there who are making $30,000 a month by being a professional troll and serving communities that just want to be placated and hear what they want to hear.
All I want, and I know this is going to sound absolutely horrible, but I have a Christmas wish. This is terrible. This is terrible. And a lot of people are going to dislike me for this. George Soros is 95 years old. Can we just for Christmas, can you just tell me when he's going to pass away? He's getting up there, and let the
around
man
the same
go
time
home.
the Heritage Foundation is going to fall apart.
Soros' son is just a big scumbag, though, so it's not going to matter.
But I'm just saying, that's just what I'm looking for.
Okay, tell Ellison to go, Larry Ellison to go land on the moon somewhere too.
Yeah, Soros is a piece of shit. Do you like Soros?
I'm impartial to him. If he does something good, cool. If he does something bad, that sucks.
What has he ever done that's good?
Hey, look, if he's done something good, cool. We're not going to go there too deep into that. If he's done something bad, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because people with wealth are always going to do something that other people are not going to like, and they're always going to influence other people.
I agree with that. You're right.
No matter what. I'm not prepared for that debate currently, so I'm not.
Me neither. Me neither. Just figured I'd bring it up. I just think he's just an evil man. But nonetheless, let's move past that. Next thing, companies are pausing price hikes. This is something interesting. What they're trying to do now is a lot of the big corporations are scaling back on passing the tariff increases, the price increases onto consumers. And that's probably more of a competitive thing than anything else. Steven, do you have anything to say on this? It's import-export pressures, pricing of goods and services, and corporations just eating some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to figure out what the market's doing. Can they charge more? Can they not? I mean, people are not spending, and they're stuck between a rock and a hard place at the end of the day. I mean, because price of everything are up. I mean, prices of their material up, prices of these tariffs, everything. But people don't have the money, so it's what do they do? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Tariffs have brought in money. Let's call it plain and see, or it's kept money within America.
The next thing, U.S. trade deficit is looking pretty good, and GDP outlooks are looking pretty good. You want to talk about this, James?
Absolutely. As we alluded to a little bit earlier, we saw that there was a massive trade imbalance last year because people were buying goods in anticipation of all these tariffs. So it shot the number way up. It shot it up by, we're just going to arbitrarily say 50%. So by comparison, now that it's down like another 25%, we're looking at this high number. But what has been the average coming into, previous administrations? And yeah, you know what? We do want to be a nation of suppliers. We want to supply to the rest of the world as much as possible. And if tariffs have played a part to that, you know what? Good on you, everybody who said that this guy was right. But we also have to, again, look at the big picture about all this, because what is going to be the long-standing price, and I'm talking internally, for doing this? Are we going to see higher prices year over year? Some people, I think, Chris, you had even told me that, tariffs are not meant to be a permanent solution to this crisis, but just something to kind of wake up America and re-leverage America in the world of trade. What do you think about that there, Chris? What were some of your points that you brought up?
Just about the deficit shrinking?
The deficit and in how that relates to trade. Now, it was a deficit.
I talked about it before. I mean, if you just look at history, I did a YouTube video back some time ago all about like the history of tariffs and the revenue that they've created. And I've also done a YouTube video on GDP in relation to deficit, or not deficit, but U.S. debt. And the only way you're ever going to get the U.S. debt down is by increasing GDP. A way to increase GDP is bring those jobs back by making it unaffordable for us to buy goods and services from other countries, or make it more price similar, make prices more similar. And I think what you're seeing here is you're seeing just a lot of that. You're seeing the deficit showing that, and it's just a direct impact of the tariffs. I know, like I've said it a million times, I feel like the tariffs are going to definitely have short-term pain, but long-term gain. And that's what you're seeing. You're starting to see, it's been 1 year almost. You're starting to see some of that gain come in. But I also think some of this is really just the competitiveness. You're starting to come in. That's pure capitalism, where other countries with their exports, they need to be competitive. And I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of going down a whole bunch of different rabbit holes here, but what you said is exactly what I think. But you're just seeing it now. You're starting to see it in the numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully this fixes a few situations, but hopefully it's not too long-term as well.
So something completely off topic. Sorry. I don't know much about Larry Ellison, and you mention him, and you hear a lot about him in the news. So I just Googled it, but just local news, which is interesting to me. This just came out yesterday. Larry Ellison purchased Lion Country Safari for $30 million, which if you're from Southeast Florida, Lion Country Safari is like a jungle Disney World. It's a place where you go drive through this humongous, it's like 200-300 acre park. And there's all these wild exotic animals and zebras and giraffes and all this crazy stuff. But anyway, just thought that was a completely random story. The story just came out yesterday, which is kind of a big deal here locally. It's interesting.
I think that the Ellisons right now, they're playing an interesting game. If you are familiar with, him and his sons, they're buying a lot of media companies. They're on the short list to buy TikTok as well. They recently had their valuation of Oracle skyrocket, essentially, when they talked about this backlog of services that they have with ChatGPT. And if you guys just want to humor me a bit, it also is like their albatross around their neck. Now that ChatGPT is kind of not as vogue as Google is right now, a lot of people are looking at Oracle and they're like, what the heck is going on?
Oracle's always been that silent, secret, company out there. I love Oracle. A guy that I know really well, Paul, he was a senior, one of the seniors over there at Oracle for many, many years. And it's just a very unique company, a quiet company, which is cool. They're not the NVIDIA or Microsoft. They're super quiet, but they're doing some of the most wild stuff. And Ellison has just done that whole family's done a phenomenal job of running that company.
It concerns me when they have that much power. And I mean, buying something like you said it was Lion Safari. What was that called there?
That's only a $30 million acquisition. That's tiny.
Yeah, that's them basically. They're just getting a little.
No, literally, that's probably couple days interest. I'm not kidding. It's such a small. That's like you reaching in your pocket and pulling out a couple nickels with some lint, and it's like, let's buy this Lion Safari thing.
What do you think they're going to do with that, Nagy?
About that, I'm literally not kidding about that. It is that small of a purchase. And how the Ellisons are looking at it is probably just like, well, we can get all this land and a couple kitty cats for a couple bucks. Let's do it. Why not?
So they're very big on conservation and animal conservation.
Well, I think we all need to be big on conservation, especially with animals.
So they basically bought a zoo. That's what they did. Hey, I got a pet tiger. I got a pet lion. I got some ostriches.
George Soros is buying judges and having let criminals out. So I think I'll stick with Larry Ellison.
All right, let's move on. I got to hit these two topics before we end, and I know we're a little over. All right, let's go to the world. There's just, and we're going to go really quick with this, but there's so much to talk about right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on. And I want to hit two topics here. I want to hit Japan
Yeah.
Okay, a lot going on in Japan. A lot of people would say what happened in Japan just broke the markets. So we're not really going to hit that, but let's talk about the raising stakes for domestic inflation and global trade because of what's going on in Japan. Then I want to move over. This has been all over the news. If you haven't seen this, like you're living under a rock, but the buildup of the U.S. military in Venezuela, okay, it's raising regional tension. It's getting a lot of world press. So I guess, James, let you take the reins on both of these. So what's your take on Japan? Because it's a big Japan from an economic standpoint. They're a first world country. You need to look at them. You need to pay attention. But they've been in this kind of stagflation period for, I don't know, what is it, 30 years now. It's just that they just have not been a real player. But with what's going on, I mean, they've always just kind of had this neutral kind of economy, but now all of a sudden rates are going up and it's going to crush them. It's going to destroy Japan.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about what's going on with Japan. I mean, their population is aging at a tremendous pace, and why are they so additionally so significant in the world market is because they are one of the number one holders of U.S. debt. So as Japan basically holds so much money within the U.S., it can also affect the United States as well. And I'm very interested to see what they're going to be doing with their economy. I'm not sure if any of the articles are available there. Nagy, maybe we can pull up some information about that real quick because we don't have a lot of time. But I think they're going to devalue their money so that more people invest into Japan. Full stop. Like, I think that's just what they're looking to do. They're going to do whatever it takes. They've got a new leadership in place right now as well. And I think they're looking towards, they've been long-term planners for a very, very long time. I think they see what's on the horizon in terms of global economics, and they're playing that game ASAP.
You're talking about China? Is that what you said?
Japan.
Right, but the pressure China's putting on them, or?
China's putting pressure on Japan as well?
Yeah.
Oh, Jews.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
I mean, just coming out, let's see, today, actually.
Okay.
I'll just share this because it does. I mean, we were talking about they play the long game. I mean, that's China, right? So, so right here, China's pressure on Japan is a familiar tactic that could last for some time. Just days after China issued an advisory against traveling to Japan, the cancellation started. About 3,000 Chinese visit Tokyo district every year. Some 200 have already canceled their bookings. I just hope the Chinese tourists return by Chinese New Year's.
Okay.
Holiday. So China's government is turning to a well-used playbook to express its displeasure with Japan for refusing to retract its statements by its new prime minister on a hot-button issue of Taiwan. Which none of this is going to help with what Japan's going through financially, though.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware about all this.
Yeah,
that's good.
That doesn't, what's going on in Japan right now really just has to do with the rates, they're going up, and it's going to affect global borrowing and exchange rates. It's already happening. It's just we haven't felt the impact yet. So, this is the first contraction since 2024. So just keep your eyes on it because it's not a little thing. It literally could drag the entire U.S. economy down.
Yeah.
The military buildup, let's just hit that one.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So got a massive military buildup. I feel like we've got our military in a lot of different places, but this is one of them. And, the Caribbean and U.S. pressure on Venezuela is escalating. So hit on this one a little bit. I've read a little bit about it, but I'm not an expert on this.
Let's look at it. We have a president in Venezuela who the United States does not recognize. And Venezuela, what do they have more in abundance than any other nation in the world? Oil. Largest oil reserves, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Yemen, more than Nigeria. And let's face it, people want in, the corporations want in. That's the general consensus. And this current administration has basically pushed out a lot of foreign interests from coming into Venezuela. You may remember Hugo Cesar Chavez. They basically hoarded all of the wealth that came from these oil reserves, and it wasn't dispersed back to the people. But when there was an oil boom previous to Hugo Chavez, well, guess what? People were doing okay, but their entire economy was basically leveraged on that. So what many people speculate is this: the United States, on the behest of a lot of oil corporations, which we know have tremendous levels of influence within America, they're saying, you know what? We want a piece of Venezuela's oil. We're going to do what it takes. And while they're saying we're putting this under the premise of it is we're fighting drug traffickers, we're seeing people like fishing boats getting shot with missiles. And if we look at traces of where cocaine comes from, it doesn't come from Venezuela, it comes from Colombia. Where does it get shipped through? It gets shipped through.
It comes from everywhere.
It comes from Panama, and it is put through trade routes through Mexico. So why is it that they're going after Venezuela, which historically has not been a tremendous drug supplier? And what does Venezuela have more than Colombia? It's going to be the oil. I'm saying follow the money in this.
It's age old. I mean, you could go back to the Iraq war. You could go all the way back. I mean, yeah, follow oil, and there lies the truth.
Exactly. Yeah. I just guys, if you disagree, please definitely support. I definitely support your opinions on this. If you guys disagree, if you feel that it is an actual drug issue, please provide evidence, because one thing I'm always open to doing is learning a little bit more. But so far, that seems like it's the underlying reason. And
I think you're probably onto something there, but I think the drug problem is just a problem that, we're always trying to solve. So it's easy for any president or any administration to just point the finger at drugs, and everybody's like, oh yeah, drugs are a problem, because they are. And you see it in kids, you see fentanyl problems. You just, my God, I can't tell you, just in this small little town of Clarence, how much racket there is just about drug problems and fentanyl.
Right.
It's a big problem. So it is very easy to point the finger at drugs, and I think that is a problem worldwide, not just Venezuela or Mexico or anywhere else. It's everywhere. And, is the oil an underlying thing to, want to put military there? I'm sure. There's probably truth in all of it. But with that, folks, the only truth we need to know is that it is past our bedtime for WTF. And now all of you, please join us this afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern by going to chrisnaugle.com and register for the wealth webinar. You get my books for free. But we've got a really special episode that we're going to be doing today. I'm actually quite excited about it, and it's perfect for the holiday we're about to go in, which is Thanksgiving. So those of you that we don't see this afternoon, have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Spend time with loved ones, give hugs, say I love you more than you ever have, and just be thankful for the day and for what you have. With that being said, thanks for joining us on this episode of What the F Happened. We will see you this afternoon, and otherwise we'll see you after.
One thing though. I just wanted to share one last thing. Sorry. Very important here. I know that was a great end of the show right there, but I wanted to give back, because those of you that are doing online shopping, you got to use this. This is going to save you money right here. All right. Because I saw earlier in the show, they said, hey, what Amazon does is they set the prices lower the previous month. So then or higher. So then whenever it looks like, they're going to lower. So you can get this really handy little tool. Let me show you guys. This will save you money right here.
Yes, please share.
I've been using this for years and years and years and years. So go to Google, type in Keepa Box, Keepa box. If you use Google Chrome, like I do, go to this little Chrome store. It takes literally 5 seconds. You click this, hit download extension. It's done as soon as you're done doing that. And then when you go over to Amazon, every product you pull up, when you scroll down the screen, check this out. It pulls up this little price chart. So now you can look back several months. What was the price back then?
Hey.
So you can see, hey, is that a true discount or not? And you can go and you can set like how long the terms are, track for how long, all that good stuff. But simple tool that you can put right into extension. It's free, and it'll show you whether that truly is a good deal or not. So there you go. That's my give back for Thanksgiving. Hopefully.
And it's called Keepa Box. Is that correct?
Keepa Box, Kepa. There you go.
All right. Keepa Box, guys. Definitely look that up. Nagy, thanks for protecting our pockets there. We appreciate that, bruv.
All right. With that being said, happy Thanksgiving, folks.
See you. Ow!